Episode 1
of
Okay.
Las Pinches Güeras.
Las pinches güeras.
Yeah, that's it.
Las pinches güeras.
Las Pinches Güeras.
Close enough. Las pinches güeras podcast. Messy stories from two white girls abroad.
Not so white anymore because we spend too much time in the sun.
True, but white really is an attitude, isn't it?
Yeah, green kids at heart.
Yeah, it should be like Las pinches gringas.
No.
No, güeras is better because somos mexicanas. Hello. So this is basically just a oh my god. That was a fine example
Why are you laughing?
of why are we like this. Yeah, so these are our travel stories of our Latin American adventures to gringas in Latin America. Just,
Living our best life.
traveling around, making it happen. We've got our tiaras on. We'll explain where those came from later on in the show. But for right now, let's do some introductions, shall we?
Hi, I'm Phoebe. And this is Jess.
What up? Just two idiots running around South America together.
They're merged into the same person.
Yeah, it's really weird. It's quite strange how we have the same brain at this point.
We have the same brain, the same fashion sense.
Yeah, it's real weird.
Yeah.
But here we are, just an American and a Brit. And a lot of people ask how we came to be such good friends and how we started traveling together. Because it's a little weird, I guess, maybe?
Yeah, I think most of the people just realize, because when you do meet people traveling and they're traveling in groups, they're usually people from the same country, similar ages, that have a lot in common.
Yeah.
And I suppose on the surface, like when you see Jess and I, we don't have an awful lot in common.
No.
Um,
But after you talk to us
And then-
for 10 minutes, you realize, oh,
I see.
yeah, word. So we get asked this question a lot. How did you two meet? How did you come to travel together? And the answer is we were introduced one night in Mexico.
By a lovely man called Isom. This dude with the beard here.
That's Isom.
He
Right
is
there.
very hard to miss. I went to a party with some friends from the hostel, and Isom just wanders up to me and goes, I see you at all the parties. I'm like, yeah, I think I see you at all the parties too. Because Isom is 6 foot, massive beard, and will always carry around this massive black fan.
Everywhere.
So he is very
Recognizable.
Very recognizable, that's the word.
That's the word.
That is the word.
That's how I met him. I was at a club in Puerto Escondido called Cactus, and I just see this man in the middle of a dance floor with a huge fan, fanning himself, dancing, and I was like, I have to know this person. And I went up behind him and I asked, can I rub your head? Which is a very weird thing to ask a person, right?
We're going to hope you're on drugs, no?
Well, I mean, yeah.
Just checking.
His head was sweating and it looked like a bunch of crystals on his head. So he's like, sure, of course you can. Because why would Isom say no to that?
Because as you can see from this picture, he has the kindest eyes in the world.
So I rubbed his head. We danced that night and exchanged information. And then the next day, I believe we went and had lunch. And we've been friends ever since.
So this is the first night I met Isom. Isom's out with Jess. They're having a night out. Not actually too sure who this other random girl is.
I met her earlier that day. She was pretty cool, but I have never spoke to her again.
So this is how we met. Fast forward a couple of months later, we're both in Guatemala on the lake. I start to go on a hike. But there are a few like rumors going around that if you are, you know, a gringa, because obviously if you're traveling from Europe or America, you obviously have a bit more money than the locals. So you are prime target for robbery.
Right.
So they tell you not to do certain hikes by yourself because you are going to be prime target for the people that live around there. I'm not saying that everyone you meet is going to rob you. I'm just saying you get warned. And when you get warned like that, there is a part of you that goes, I'm not going to risk it. So I didn't. And I turned around and just headed to the next bar I could see. So I'm sat there, I take a picture of the cocktail and put it on my story. Jess and I had exchanged Instagrams this night.
Yeah, on this night. And I'm also bored at a bar, like 3 hostels down from her. And I see in my stories that she's there. And I was like, why not get a drink together? So I message her and I'm like, hey, I am really close to you. Should we meet up? And
I had no idea who she was. So what I did was I looked at our mutual friends on Instagram, saw it was Isom. It was like to Isom. I was like, who the hell is this girl? And Isom was like, oh, that's Jess. You two will get on really well. And God, was he right. Because we literally sat there, had like 2 drinks. I was like, oh, there's a pool table at where I'm staying.
let's go.
So from then on, we're inseparable.
We were inseparable and we traveled Guatemala together.
Went through that hellish journey back into Mexico together.
Yeah, got back into Mexico, partied for a couple days and then separated for a bit. I had a boyfriend in Puerto Escondido. She was also with a man. And
Did we put man?
hello.
Lol.
So a few months goes by. I went back to the United States for the holidays. She went back to England. And then I went to Costa Rica from the US. She went to
I was
Mexico.
already back in Puerto Escondido working at the hostel I'd volunteered at previously.
Right.
So I was already there. We needed a social media manager. And I knew Jess was going to be coming back to Porto to see her boyfriend idiot, at some point. So I messaged her and was like, do you want the social media job? Like, I know you're not going to take up a bed in the volunteer dorm, blah, blah, blah. So along she comes, meets the staff, takes over the social media, fine and dandy.
Everything's great until my relationship went very south, and we broke up and we were living together, so I had nowhere to go. So I moved in with Phoebes and we shared her one double bed for a couple of weeks.
That was on like, I don't know if it was farmland. There was just a lot of land. They had dogs. They had chicken.
It was a
They
lovely
had a
place.
rooster.
He's a rooster, just a rooster. And oh my God, I have never in my existence have I experienced a rooster that never stops
didn't
roostering.
stop. Like,
he never stops roostering.
I would go out all night, see sunrise with my very good friend Zach, and we'd continue drinking, and then it would be maybe like midday 1, and I'd be like, I'm going to go and try and get some sleep before I start work at 5. It's daytime, this rooster's still just a roostering.
He roosters
All
so hard.
day long.
And all that he is really, really committed to the rooster game. Really committed. So yeah, we lived there for a couple of weeks together, and then Phoebes decides she's gonna go to Brazil with her man thing.
Which brings us into our next segment of
Why are men?
And before we go into that, like just a bit of background, I met this lad the year before when I was traveling Mexico. We got on really well. Everything was going perfectly fine. While I was in Puerto Escondido working, he went from an in-studio LA job to what he told me was a remote job that he could do anywhere in the world. So I was like, oh my God, sick. I can leave Porto, we can do Mexico City for a bit. We'll then go to Brazil, and then after that, how do you feel about Peru and Ecuador? Perfect, no problems. I'm in Mexico City, we're there a few days. I'm like, okay, so we should probably start thinking about how we're gonna get from Brazil to Peru.
Because again, we're talking about months of travel. We're not talking about just a couple of weeks. We're talking about 3 to 4 months of travel.
So then this is the point where he tells me that actually no, he can't do that because he needs to be in the studio, back in the studio beginning of March time.
Which he would have already known way ahead of time.
It's not like we weren't in communication. We were messaging. I was sending him ideas. There was a lot of conversation going on, and there was lots of opportunities for him to tell me that was not the plan.
Before she gave up her job, her apartment, her friends, everything she knew.
So I already know this. I'm already pissed the fuck off. Like, why are men so shit at communicating? If anyone can answer that, please let me know.
They can't.
Why? Why was it? What you're doing is just ruining a great opportunity. Like, you could have told me, I can't do it right now, but hey, when I get holiday, I'll come meet you where you are. And that would have been fine. I would have accepted that for a bit until I realized that was going nowhere, and it would have fallen apart anyway.
Right.
But I thought we were in a great point. So nonetheless, we go to Carnival in Rio de Janeiro together to go see our friends. These friends knew us separately, and they kind of knew us together. And it was very obviously something was off. Honestly, fucking hell, trying to talk to a man is like getting blood from a stone. There's no communication going on at all.
Yeah, but I mean, I think, so we also need to mention the fact that he is also very young. And me being older than pretty much everyone that I meet traveling, I see a lot of things that, like, when I was young, or younger, I should say, it's all pretty common in, like, the age thing, because I don't give a fuck. I am very direct, very honest, very much, just if there's something I need to say, I'm just going to say it, because I don't have time. I don't have time to beat around the bush, and it doesn't do anyone any good. Like, in the end, it just doesn't do anyone any good. And when you're younger, men and women,
Yeah.
you just don't have those skills yet. You're so concerned.
Yeah, but it wasn't really a case of,
Oh no, he's 1,000% wrong.
Yeah, but it was more a case of, we'd already had a conversation about whether he wanted to travel, whether he wanted to stay and focus on his career. And I think deep down I knew that his career was gonna win, but it was more the fact that he didn't have the guts to tell me, and he thought it wasn't going to annoy me as much as it did.
Yeah.
So I'm in Rio de Janeiro, not having a great time. I mean, I'm having a great time. My friends are there. It's Carnival. I'm having an okay time, but in the back of my head, I'm like, what the fuck am I going to do next? Like, I thought we were going to go to Peru and Ecuador together. That's obviously not happening. So do I just go by myself?
And at the same time, in Puerto Escondido, I obviously went through a breakup before Phoebes left. But now I am stuck in this town with my ex, and a few things happened that were not ideal, and I realized that I definitely needed to leave. And also, I had been there for so long, and like, I knew that I wasn't living my best life. I knew that, like, as travelers, we get like a 3 to 4 month itch.
Yeah, that's true.
If you are in one place for longer than 3 months, 4 months especially, you really start to feel like you are just not living your purpose. You're just not doing what you should be doing. And I was feeling that 1,000% in Puerto Escondido. I had to get out. And so, the whole time Phoebes is in Brazil, we're in communication. She's telling me everything that's going on. I'm like, dude, that shit is super fucked. We both need to get out of our situations. And I was like, I think I might go back to Texas because I really don't want to be alone right now. I really need the support of like friends and family. But if you're not happy where you are, I'm not happy where I am, and we both want to continue traveling, why don't we just meet in another country? And she's like, okay, where do you want to go? And I'm like, how about Colombia? And here we are.
So that's what we did. And like, I know it sounds like all I'm doing is bitching about this lad. Like,
No, but it's a general statement as well.
what,
Like,
why are men so shit at communicating? But I just want to mention, because the likelihood of either him watching this or someone we're both really close to watching this, is
very
there.
likely.
It's there. So I just want to add, like, thank you. This is definitely where I needed to be. The only reason we're doing that this story to such details, because that's how we've both gorgeously ended up here in our tiaras with our stunning tans.
This was kind of like our backstory of how we got here, as Phoebes mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
But in the episodes continuing, we will definitely get into some experiences that we have had on the road with men
That are less personal.
that always beg the question,
Why are men?
Hey, on a separate note, like just real quick, Phoebes, I think,
You're gonna have to buy fucking straighteners, is what you're gonna say, innit?
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I know how much it bothers you, and
No,
I know
but I mean, like, do you have space for that?
if I got a mini straightener, yeah, it's not gonna take that much room. And
No, they
look
really
how
do.
much better my hair looks, dude.
But it doesn't look bad when you don't straighten it.
Okay, it doesn't look terrible, but you know how much I hate the flip.
That flick annoys everyone.
So why would I not just buy a straightener and take care of it?
Because does that flick not go when you grow it past a certain point?
I mean, I've been
In that
saying
picture
that
with
for
Isom,
months.
your long hair doesn't have the flick.
Yeah, but my hair's down to here. It's gonna take forever to grow that long.
Yeah, let's get a straightener.
Yeah.
Can we get one of those straighteners that, like, you could buy, like, in the early 2000s that had, like, crimping and shit? Like,
Yeah, totes.
attachments to it.
Yeah, totes.
Yeah, and then you can crimp my hair.
Yeah, we can get a super fun one.
Can it also, like, remind us to drink water?
It cannot.
Oh.
But we can get another daddy, which we definitely need because we are definitely a mess, which leads us into our next segment. Why are we like this?
What was it you said when I was getting crisps out of a packet with my fucking back scratcher? He was like, what am I witnessing here? You were like, greatness.
Okay, yeah. So
Greatness.
actually, I have that clip. This is in Santa Marta, which we got stuck in for like 2.5 weeks, and we're gonna get into that shortly. This is in the hostel that we were stuck at for 2.5
And let's just
weeks.
everyone appreciate my sleeping top. This is the top I sleep in.
And this is
Oh, and I bought a back scratcher.
a back
because
scratcher.
Who the hell doesn't need that?
Do you have it still?
Yeah, but like the pink thing that scratches is come attached from the pole. I don't actually know where the pole is. It can't be far. It's in my bag.
Skills, right? I mean, definite skills going on here.
But in the back.
In the background, there's this Dutch guy that walks in.
And he asks, what are my witnesses?
And it was like,
And Jess goes, this
Great.
is greatness.
greatness.
And that's a terrible shot. And Jess goes, greatness. And she's not wrong. Like,
I'm not wrong.
we are like this because we are fabulous.
Yeah, so I think I should clarify the daddy statement because that sounds a little strange to people. We found very early on that we do very well to have around a sensible person to remind us to drink water and eat food.
That is what we learned from having daddies. But the first daddy that ever came into existence because when we met in Guatemala, there was this guy that was staying at my hostel. He was fluent in Spanish. And we all went on a wander around a little place in Lake Catalan. And we go to this place that has strong enough Wi-Fi for him to continue working. It also has games, puppies, a shop, and a bar.
It was awesome.
So we're there playing with this puppy, playing games,
Drinking.
I'd recently just bought a cuddly toy unicorn. Because what else do you
She
need?
has cuddly toys. It's real weird.
What else is good?
I mean, it's whatevs. Like, I do weird shit too, but like,
Judgmental as hell, right?
nah. I mean, I'm just saying. Like, I have weird shit. I do weird shit too. It's fine.
Fine.
So we're at this bar.
We're at this bar, which has really good Wi-Fi. We're playing Connect 4. We have my cuddly toy unicorn just sat chilling, watching. And I just say, as a passing comment, it's like we're the kids of divorced parents and the dad has custody, but he still has work to do. So he takes us somewhere where we're entertained.
So that he can continue working.
And we're entertained and not annoying him.
And I was like, holy shit, that is exactly what it's like. And from then on,
He was daddy.
He was
and
daddy.
at one point, we were sunbathing in one part of Lake Catalan. And we see him at the front of a lancha. And we stand up and we're yelling, Daddy. And he just sits there like, yeah, that's right.
And everyone's
Daddy.
looking at him like, why are these two fully grown women in bikinis screaming daddy at this man? Because he's lucky, that's why. And so from that point on, we realized that it's really good for us to keep around a sensible person that will remind us to drink water and eat food and do things that normal people do that we forget to do.
I mean, yeah, you say that, but Pappy was literally the reason we ended up staying in Messiah for 5 days without leaving the hostel.
But Poppy also did wake
Right.
us up, remind us to drink water, bring us water, remind us to eat food. That's the whole reason that we were hungover the first night.
I
or the
honestly
first
think,
day.
like, if Pappy hadn't have found us so entertaining that first day we met him when we were on the Guatape tour, this wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
Because it was the first day I arrived. We were on a very popular tour that goes out of Medellin. Guatape, you go
Guatape.
Guatape, because as we now know, a G is an H.
Yes.
Guatape. You go to a nice colourful village, you climb a big rock, you go up some stairs to a big rock. And there's a few stops. And the first stop, we don't really talk to him. The second stop, we talk to him. The third stop, he's like, these girls are brilliant. I'm just going to follow them. So
And
then,
then he just stayed.
and then he just stayed. And then 2 days later, we're due to check out of the hostel and we'll move to another hostel. We'd gone out the night before. It's 10 to 11, check out's 11.
We went to sleep at 7:30 that morning.
Oh yeah, that was a genius idea.
Yeah. And Poppy wakes both of us up
In separate rooms.
in separate rooms.
So neither of us know what the other one did when they got woken up.
Yeah.
But ironically, we both had the exact same reaction to being shaken awake
Yeah.
at 10 to 11
Which
a.m.
was fuck off. But he woke us up. So that's his first test as
I mean,
Poppy.
that was our first test with Daddy Dope as well.
Yeah. So
Because he thought we were joking.
and we had met, okay, so Poppy was the second daddy. And then while we went to Santa Marta before Poppy. We met Poppy in Medellin. Then Santa Marta was after that. And we went without Poppy. He came to Cali because he loves salsa more than anything on the planet.
like, even more than the dance teachers here.
loves salsa.
Loves it.
Loves it. So he came to Cali. We went to Santa Marta. We are in Taganga, which is like a barrio of Santa Marta, and it's in like the northern part of the town. While we were there, we met Daddy Dope, who became our third daddy. And when we were there, we discovered that we wanted to go to some similar places together. So we were like, okay, when you're ready, let's meet up in Minca. So Poppy, while we're in Taganga, sends us a screenshot that he had booked a ticket to Santa Marta. So we're like, awesome.
We'll book a hostel.
We'll book a hostel. And he's like, okay, but just for one night because I want to go to Tyrona Park. We're like, okay, cool. We find this hostel called Messiah.
And if you're ever in Colombia and you don't know where to stay, there's a few Messiahs dotted around. Messiahs are definitely great. Their beds are always going to be comfy. Their bars are never going to let you down.
Yeah.
They're usually in a really good area. My friend stayed at the Messiah in Minca and said it was amazing.
And the Messiah in Santa Marta it's great. The bar staff is great.
The reception staff.
Great. The manager's great. I mean, it's a really nice place. But we were only meant to be there for one day.
But obviously we hadn't seen Papi in a few weeks. And these, like, it needs to be mentioned that these are his last few days in Colombia before he flies back to Belgium. And he has chosen to spend these last few days with us idiots.
Of course.
So, we turn up, we see him, we're at the bar, we drink, we have a bit to eat, we drink more, we dance, we drink more.
And so, needless to say, we don't go to bed till like 4 or 5 in the morning.
If not later, because we got back at 4, and that's when we had like an hour-long discussion about whether we were extending our one-night stay, which obviously
we are.
Because we shouldn't have booked for one night to start with, because when have we ever stayed at our hostel for one night? Never.
So we get up at like 10 in the morning. I can't sleep because I'm violently hungover. We go up to the terrace and there's Papi holding a beer, dancing salsa with a lady. And I'm like, how? I can barely see straight. I want to die. And he is just dancing salsa, having the time of his life. So we spend the whole day recovering.
He is from Belgium though, like, I think they just drink beer.
It's just their blood, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we spend the day recovering, basically just waiting for the bar to open.
So we can have more than a beer.
So we can have more than a beer. And we do that and we end up staying again all night on that rooftop. Papi meets a girl, does not stay at the hostel. So we end up booking another night. And a couple days go by and we're just there.
We're still a Messiah.
But remember, we had made plans with Daddy Dope. So Daddy Dope is at Carnival in Barranquilla. He meets a lady.
And then puts off meeting us another day. But while we're here on these days, we're literally just catching up with Papi.
Drinking.
We're going from rooftop to the pool 2 stories down. Rooftop to the pool 2 stories down. So honestly, if you had questions about what we did in Santa Marta for those 5 days, bearing in mind, you can go to Tyrona Park. You can do this. No. Do you know what we did?
This is what we did.
We did this.
This is what we
This is
did.
what we did.
So we decided to make a synchronized swimming routine for Papi. He's filming it. And this it's really good.
We did a great job. Like
we
just
really
needed
did.
more
Look at the girls in the back. Oh my God. And unfortunately, I looked on the break and we didn't. I don't have it.
So the first take we did of that, because we were practicing it, but I didn't know how we were practicing it was not actually how it was going to be shown.
That it was underwater.
So I'm stood there not knowing what the hell is going on.
I think this is the
but
one.
There is another take.
You also don't know what's going on here, and I think you just stay underwater.
Yeah.
And then I just dive on top of you here, just boom. And I'm still going, having no idea that you're not with me. So there's that one.
How did these look there?
Yeah, all your tattoos look really good. All right, so, and I think there's one more. This one here.
Just in case you haven't seen enough videos of us doing that.
No, we're showing you all of our stupid shit. That is the whole point of this podcast. really, if I'm being honest. All right, here. This is the one where the hotel staff, like you can
Yeah,
see
so-
them in the left
So
side.
bearing in mind we've been here a while, we chat to all of these people on a daily basis.
So they know us.
So they're probably not surprised at what they're witnessing.
Yeah, and they're just back there laughing. And it must be, I need to mention that after this, they all came by and told us what a great job we did. So, you know, we were entertainment for the staff a lot.
Whether we were doing our pool routine or not.
Yeah, honestly.
Do you know what's depressing? We haven't done that routine since.
I know, and we said we would.
Yeah, but we haven't found a pool that's like good enough.
Yeah, it has to be just like that pool. It has to be like here level.
Yeah.
Because all the other pools are like here.
Yeah.
That doesn't work. It just doesn't work out. So anyway, yeah, back to that. We're stuck in Santa Marta. Daddy Dope.
Pappy
like-
leaves on the Monday.
Yeah, Poppy leaves.
We're meant to be meeting Daddy Dope on the Tuesday.
But he messages us that day and he's like, hey, I met a girl. So I'm going to stay here. And we're like, cool. So we're going to be in this hostel another day. So we're there another day. Daddy Dope shows up. We go to Minka. We got out.
Eventually.
We got out.
We left Santa Marta at like 8 in the evening.
True. We went to Minka, which is like a mountain town, very close to Santa Marta. We hang out there for like 4 or 5 days, and then we go back to Santa Marta.
With the plan of only being there for a couple of days and then heading to Palomino.
But then the staff is like, hey, there's this party going on. It's a techno party, which me and Phoebe have been dying for a techno party because here it's nothing but reggaeton and salsa, which is fine. We're in Colombia. I understand. But there's only so much.
Like, I understand people will say techno all sounds the same. Yes, a lot of techno. If you're not a fan of it and you're not in the
100%.
right frame of mind, it does sound the same. But with techno, you don't go into shops and hear techno. You don't get in a taxi and hear techno. In Colombia, reggaeton is played from like 5 a.m. till literally everyone goes to bed.
It never stops.
It doesn't stop. Like, we will be in Cali with the windows open and there will be cars driving past at 7 a.m. playing reggaeton super loud. You don't get that with techno.
Yeah. It's,
Like, yes,
it's not
techno
constant.
is similar to the song that was played before, but reggaeton, shit, guys, it's like 2 reggaeton singers.
Yeah, there's like 2 reggaeton artists. They do all the songs.
Have you heard of Dakiti?
I don't think I have. Can you sing it for me?
No, probably not.
Yeah.
But I know the song.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean it's constant, which okay, we are in Colombia, I understand. But when I hear the words techno party, I'm like, when and where and how can I go? And they're like, well, we have a bus leaving from the hostel. You can pay to get a spot on the bus. We're like, cool, we do that. Then we realize we have to stay here longer in order to go to this party. But they don't have availability.
So, in our sensible, sober brain, one hungover morning, we go, okay, let's book an Airbnb to like refresh. So after the rave, you know, we can go back, we can have the aircon on, blah, 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 blah.
Lol.
Firstly, they didn't have aircon.
No.
Secondly, and we will come to this shortly, we did not go back to that Airbnb. So we get this Airbnb and we literally just use it as a storage space.
So this is really the only time we spent in this Airbnb, which is prior to the rave. These are our outfits, which are lovely, but we'll come back to this later. I just want to point out that shortly after this picture was taken, Phoebe did mention that our vaginas were completely visible in these outfits because she said, do we wear pants? And I was like, I don't know.
Which is a weird sentence for me to say.
Right? But I mean, they're really cute. Like in this picture, I'm thinking, do we need pants? Like we're in a tropical place. We're going to a rave. We look sick. Maybe we don't need pants.
But luckily, we both wore shorts. 'Cause when you say pants, you mean like
just
Not
something,
underwear.
right?
Yeah.
Something to cover.
Yeah.
And she said that because she was fully aware that our vaginas are visible in these outfits. I, however, did not listen to what she was saying and was completely unaware. That will come
I
back
love this photo of us
later on. Oh, it's cute. Oh, we looked sick. I mean, for a techno rave, honestly, we couldn't have looked any better, I don't think. And this is us at Messiah,
obviously. Even though we were literally waiting for the bus.
Yeah, we're
They were
waiting for
like
the
Every
bus.
so often they were like half an hour.
I don't know how to make this bigger, but anyways, that's us. We have on our tiaras, which you see here, because my co-star horoscope that day said, do tiaras. So we did. Anyway, we go to the rave, and the deal is, okay, we're going to go on the bus. The bus leaves at 3 a.m. And in my head, I'm thinking the party doesn't even start till 3 a.m. But okay, whatevs. We'll see how it goes. It's like 2:30 a.m. and Phoebe's like, guys, we should start thinking about
what we're gonna do. Like, do we get on this bus or not?
Immediately.
Obviously, it was gonna be a like majority rules.
Yeah.
So I go, we need to figure out, are we getting on this bus in half an hour?
Absolutely
Daddy
not.
Dope goes, I don't really want to. Jess goes, I don't really want to.
Absolutely
I go,
not.
thank fuck, me neither. So we go find the hostel manager and we go,
Yeah.
we're not going to get on that bus.
We're not getting on the bus. We're staying. And he's like, okay, cool. See you guys later.
Whenever.
So we stay.
We continue partying, we drink, we dance. And then I don't even know what time it is, but at some point, the DJ has to move from the spot he was in at the hostel area to the other side of the fence because of the neighbors.
Right.
So this is more of like a after party.
So we're at the after party. And I noticed like something out of the corner of my eye, and I'm like, did somebody set a palm tree on fire? What's going on? And Phoebe's like, yeah, it kind of does look like that, huh? And I'm like, somebody should do something about that. She's like, well, should we go look at it? Like, yeah, let's go. So it turns out it wasn't a palm tree, it was a Burning Man.
See, I'd call that a scarecrow.
I mean, yeah. Either or.
Same shit.
I don't know if the audio is coming through. There's Daddy Doe.
Oh, audio. I'm
Yeah, this is well into the night.
We have forgotten to mention that this rave had a pool.
Oh
We
yeah,
did spend a lot of time in this pool.
Oh man, it was sick. Yeah, which will also bring back the whole vagina thing. Yeah, so again, I was completely unaware that the whole time I'm in this pool and dancing subsequently around in this outfit, vagina's fully
Obviously, at this
visible.
point, no one actually gives a shit.
No one
It's
cares.
techno.
Yeah, no one cares. But okay, here's just a little bit of the after party to show.
Sunrise is coming.
Yeah, this is sunrise. So me and Phoebes are sitting here dancing, right? We're having a good time. I'm filming around, like showing that, hey, it's sunrise, and like, but Daddy Dope is
nowhere to be seen.
Nowhere to be found.
He likes to go off on adventures. by
Yeah,
himself.
he goes
Quick
on.
little adventures. So then once we're dancing, I turn around, like I like to check my packs are all safe. At one point I turn around and I'm like,
Is that Daddy climbing a tree?
and
It's Daddy climbing a tree. And there he is. And he's unaware, by the way, that we're watching him.
Yeah, no, he's there.
He's just, there he is. And then, sees us.
And then after he noticed, we noticed,
Isn't he
so
cute? He's the cutest human in the world.
So after we noticed, every so often he'd disappear and like look at trees and be like, no, that one's not good enough to climb. And then go for another one.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
That's not a good tree.
Yeah,
It's not a good climbing tree. I'm going to find a better climbing tree.
Which he did every so often.
So, so this is...
So the DJ finishes. We're like, oh, what now? I'm like,
What
we've
do
got
now?
beers. let's go finish watching the sunrise on the beach like a normal human being.
So we're here sitting on, this is like maybe 7:30 in the morning, and I'm like, okay, guys, we should probably like figure out how we're gonna get back because we're like an hour away from our Airbnb.
Get some water. We have kids. Why do we need water?
And yeah, like Phoebes is basically like, we have beers, we're fine. Like, why do we need to go anywhere? And I'm like, all right, whatevs. So we start to notice that everyone leaving the party is going the same direction down the beach. And Phoebe's like, why don't we follow these folks and see what's going on?
So we did.
So we did.
And we walked to the first stop. Like, we walked to the first place that had like seats and stuff, which was obviously a hostel on the beach. So we sit there for a bit. Daddy Dope heads off to go get some spray. We sat there for a few hours.
Yeah, just like there.
And then we head to the bar because we see someone stood there.
And we also needed water, which this is Phoebe getting water, which
The audio for this is quite funny because I know they're watching me, and in the background, Daddy Dope just goes, she knows we're watching her.
because you just look like you're struggling.
It really is a struggle.
Yeah, I mean, it was
We
just
had one of those at the volunteer house in Bali, and I was like, there's got to be an easier way to do this shit. And there is.
yeah. But,
There's so many easier ways.
so the whole reason we go to this place is because we realize, oh, there's someone behind the bar. If there's someone behind the bar, then there's definitely a way to get alcohol. Let's drink at this bar.
So we drink at that bar.
We drink at that bar, and we stay there till like
4
a.m. or 4 p.m.
No, was it like
3 or 4 at least?
And then we went to the next one.
and we started moving our way down the beach and going to more hostels
Yeah,
to
because
drink.
we went to the next one, and that was when we got kicked out of the pool because we weren't staying there.
That's right. Yeah.
So we were in this hostel where you see me struggling getting water. And this is when Jess has the epiphany that
this is us at the bar.
if we want to go in the pool, because they had a little pool, if we want to go in the pool, people will be able to see our vagina. And it's daytime, and there's people that haven't partied, and everyone's sober.
Yeah,
So, like,
there's like kids
maybe
and
us
stuff.
swimming in the outfits that are sheer where our vagina is isn't okay anymore, which I totally get. But then we noticed that this hostel sells bikinis. So,
But I think, yeah.
so
there.
we go off and we see these bikinis for sale. So without even thinking, we just pick up these bikinis, pay for them, put them on, go back to the bar, have some drinks, sit down, and we're like, should we go to the pool?
Let's go to the whole reason we bought them, which
Is-
these were not cheap. These were not cheap.
And the bottoms were so small you could still see my vagina. So I didn't really gain anything apart from a new bikini. So we're sat there and we're like, we'll go to the bar. We'll go to the pool, sorry. So we head to the pool. We walk to the pool, see it doesn't look that appetizing, turn right back around and just go sit at the bar. So we spent 40 English pounds on 2
yeah.
bikinis.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly.
Yeah.
And we didn't even go in the pool.
Didn't even
We
swim.
We didn't even go in that pool
We went in another pool and got kicked out.
because we didn't stay there.
Yeah.
The bartender looked like Thor.
Yeah, he did. He did. But we had a blast, as you can see in this photo. This is maybe
We still hadn't made it back to our Airbnb at this
that we
point.
paid for to go chill in after the party. We did not get back to that hostel because we went to Messiah after we got back to Santa Marta.
Yeah.
And drank there until midnight.
And then we went back to our
And then we went to
Airbnb.
Airbnb.
And then it was the day we had to check out.
Yeah, lol. So that concludes today's segment of Why Are We Like This? Why are we like this?
I don't know, because it's entertaining.
It's really fun.
I think my favorite part about that night is like the amount of times you were like, okay, guys, we need to like get water. Oh, the hostel's open. Maybe they can book us a taxi. And I'm like, sit the fuck down. Like, chill.
Lol. Well, I have to pee. Can we take a break? Let's take a break. We're going to break. We'll be back. And we're back. And we are back with a segment that we will have
Full
every
glasses.
week. Yeah. This was a purpose. We had to pee and also
Top up our wine.
refill the wine because
Which we're drinking with lemonade because this one's like on the turn of going off.
I have to be honest. I've done a lot of podcasts. Well, I say a lot. I had 2 podcasts and I've produced podcasts. But I can say honestly, beyond a shadow of a doubt, I have never ever done a podcast without alcohol. Even as a guest on podcast, I have always drank alcohol. So it is a tradition, and we will drink every time because that's how it goes. Now,
should we mention that it's 9 a.m. or like, nah?
it's not,
But
but it could be
but
because
it's not.
We have done that. I did forget to mention one thing about our Santa Marta trash bag journey.
Oh shit, yeah.
Which is very necessary. So, we spent a lot of time in Santa Marta basically just doing nothing but partying. So we thought, what better way to commemorate that than by getting trash bag tattoos?
And how we ended up at the tattoo studio who tattooed us was we'd gone and watched the most beautiful sunset.
Gorgeous.
It was the first time we'd left our hostel in probably 48 hours. Not Messiah, just noting, not Messiah.
Not Messiah, different hostel.
So we hopped in a taxi, went to watch sunset at the marina, and then Jess Googled tattoo studios nearby that are open. We see there's one that's 24-hour. I messaged them on Instagram, don't hear anything back. We're like, oh, we'll just walk there, like, see what happens.
It's close, yeah.
So we walk there. Well, we're walking through a neighborhood, and it's not the appearance of a safe neighborhood for 2 gringos.
Yeah.
So we're still walking. We turn the corner. I'm like, are we just walking till we get murdered? Like, where are you taking me, Jess? What's happening?
We're following the map.
And then, as we have that conversation, just outside someone's house, there's a sign that says tattoo. And me, in all my Britishism and well-known loudness, goes, that says tattoo.
It says tattoo right there.
And then, I don't know if like other British people get this, but when any American puts on a British accent, do they or do they not sound like they're putting on a Cockney British accent from the well-known like old school Disney movies like Mary Poppins?
To be fair, I think I do you quite well.
Yeah, but you don't sound like me. I'm not Cockney.
I can have worms. That sounds like you.
They don't know that story. That's totally another story for why we like this.
But
next
they will.
week. Hilarious. You get to see the video.
No, you're right. I can't do a British accent, but I can do you.
No, but what every American does is a Cockney English accent, which you won't. You will. Also,
Yeah, and every
English person,
and every
does
British
Valley
person
Girl.
does Valley Girl.
Yeah.
I don't sound like that. I don't go, oh my god, you guys, this is like totally cool. But
Oh my god, did Legally Blonde just walk in?
yeah, see, and that's what Brits do. So it goes both
Yeah,
ways.
no, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it.
Same
correctly.
shit, different toilet.
Anyway, back to. So we see a tattoo sign. There's this 2 men and a young lad
Teenager.
sat outside, and they're like, "Tu quieres una tatuaje?"
That was really close.
Tatuaje.
Tatuaje.
I'm like, see. So we design Princesa Basura.
Yes, which is fantastic, and also leads us into our next segment, Spanish learning. I, and Phoebe as well, strongly believe that we are traveling through Latin America. It's important to know Spanish. And honestly, it really, really bothers me when gringos come here and they make no effort to learn the language. I understand if you're just here for a couple of weeks, you're on a short vacation, you don't know Spanish, you don't make an effort to learn, fine. You're on vacation. That makes sense. But when you are traveling through Latin America for an extended period of time, for a months-long journey, and you make zero effort to learn the language, it really, really, really bothers me.
When I first came out to Mexico last year, obviously I did what everyone does and downloaded Duolingo. I learned Spanish at school 10 years prior. So in the back of my head, I had the bare minimum basics. So when I got to Duolingo, I was like, oh, I still have the bare minimum basics. And then I got to Mexico, and then what you do is you stay everywhere that gringos stay. So the learning of Spanish literally just stays at that bare minimum. When I went to Guatemala, obviously OG Daddy was fluent in Spanish, and Jess was really like, I want to fucking learn.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of Spanish speaking.
Because I did spend about a year in Mexico, and Phoebe too, on and off. But like, and I didn't stay in gringo places. Mind you, I had a Mexican boyfriend, but his English is very, very good. So we ended up speaking English most of the time. And also, the majority of people in Mexico, I would say, know English.
Yeah.
Way more than anyone in Guatemala or Colombia or even, well, Costa Rica, a lot of people know English because it's mainly built for tourism.
I mean, in Guatemala, yeah, there was 100% more than Colombia.
Yeah, Colombia, I would say, like, it's rare when you meet someone that speaks English here.
Most of the people that are in Colombia, that are working in Colombia, that do speak English fluently are usually not from Colombia.
Or
Like, people who work in hostels, they're usually from Venezuela or Costa Rica. They're not Colombians.
yeah. So when we came here, you know, I was really, really adamant that, okay, at this point, I mean, I know I've been in Mexico for a while. I did learn a lot in Mexico, but I just never practiced it because I didn't have to. So I learned a lot, but I didn't use it. And then we came to Colombia and it was like, oh, wow, this is a great place to really, really get into it because you get a lot of practice.
And I mean, at the moment, we are a lovely lady that we met in Santa Marta that we're going to make Pappy marry.
Yes.
She's letting us stay with her, but
And this is her house.
this is her house.
And she's lovely.
Gorgeous.
Love her. I actually love her so much.
It's like we have a mommy.
Yeah, she's our mommy.
Yeah, so lovely. But her English, she knows the bare minimum in English, but if we're comparing our Spanish knowledge and her English knowledge, our Spanish knowledge is higher.
And we speak nothing but Spanish.
So when we're with her, we speak nothing but Spanish.
And it's great.
And it's great. Jess's level of Spanish is a lot better than mine. I can understand a lot more. And when I talk, it's more my accent people don't understand.
Right. And that was going to be what that was my next thing is actually in actuality, your Spanish and my Spanish are pretty close to the same level. The only difference is my accent is much better.
So people understand you more, so I talk less.
Right.
We're both at the same stage. We're both like understand, like, so we know present tense. Now we're both just learning past
I'm good at
and
past.
future. Past, I'm getting there
Yeah.
on certain verbs.
Yeah.
But in fairness, when you're traveling, you just really need to know the I have, so I had,
Or do you have?
like, you just need to, yeah.
And you learn pretty quickly that you repeat the same things a lot. So, you know, those things become really easy, like functional Spanish, like ordering at a restaurant or a bar or getting a taxi or going to a hotel, or all of those things become so repetitive that you
Second
learn it
nature.
super quick.
Yeah.
What's hard is conversational Spanish, but staying with Cindy. And also, you know, making friends here in Colombia.
And that time we played Never Have I Ever in Spanish in Medellin.
And also, Poppy was really adamant that we practice a lot.
So the three of us would.
we practiced a lot with
Yeah.
Poppy. And like my conversational Spanish has gotten so
Yeah.
much better in Colombia. And I love it. I love it. I want to one day be fluent in Spanish. And it's when you travel through Latin America, you learn really quickly that Spanish is different. in every country.
So different.
So different, because the Spanish that works in Mexico doesn't always work here.
And even the Spanish that works in Spain. So we have a friend from Spain that we met in Puerto Escondido.
God, yeah.
And he stayed with us in Medellin for a bit. And his Spanish is completely different to the Spanish in Medellin.
Or Mexico. There were a lot of, like, he would text me and I would be like, this doesn't even go in Google Translate. Like, I have no idea what you're trying to tell me right now. But in English, please, because I don't understand your Spanish. And it's different in a lot of places. So this segment, because we're in Colombia, we're going to focus today on Colombia specific things. When you come to Colombia, you will learn one thing very quickly. I was very fortunate when I first got to Colombia, because again, Phoebes arrived like 2 or 3 days after me. So I was here alone for the first 2 or 3 days. And I was in a hostel room.
But when you are traveling and staying in hostels, you're very rarely ever alone.
Right.
Like,
oh, exactly.
We just want to highlight that.
Yeah. So I was in a hostel room with 3 lovely ladies from Bogota. And they all spoke English, but we all spoke Spanish together because they are all friends. They're all Colombian, obviously, so they are going to speak Spanish. And when I got into the room with them, I was like, cool, this is a great opportunity to practice my Spanish with people who have it as a native language, but also know English so they can explain things to me, which is great. So we spoke a lot of Spanish together, and they taught me some Colombian things. And the very first thing they taught me, which you will learn very quickly here, is no dar papaya. That's very Colombia specific. And what that means is if you're walking in the street and you have your phone out, there is always a possibility that someone will walk by you and rip it out of your hand.
But as we learned in Santa Marta with Papi, it's not always just your phone. Like,
it can be your jewelry.
Like, it can be anything that is worth something. Not a papaya literally means don't show off.
Yeah, don't show off.
Don't show off.
Don't show off. Don't have your phone out. Don't have money out. I mean, these things seem obvious, but you don't realize how much when you're walking in the street. You're like, oh, that's so cool. And you pull out your phone to take a picture. Meanwhile,
or check a map.
Meanwhile, there's motos driving by that can just, in a second, just rip it out of your hand and they're gone and you don't see them ever again. Yeah, checking your map, or, now, because I met them so early on, immediately I'm like, okay, anytime I need to look at my map, I make sure that I either go into a shop or that I find a little corner on the street that's like not occupied, and I have Phoebe stand behind me. And we always make sure that we block any kind of interference that could come in. Same thing at like an ATM.
When you can't lock the door.
When you can't
you
lock
stand
the
in the
door.
doorway and just check.
She'll be at the ATM and I will have my back to her watching everyone around, and she'll do the same for me. No dar papaya. Don't show off. Always be aware. And that is a very Colombian specific thing. I never heard that until I came here.
Same.
No dar papaya. And it's very, very important to always follow that. As we mentioned, we are staying with our friend Cindy, who is Colombian, who speaks mostly Spanish. So we always speak Spanish with her. We went out one night and she told us that a saying that her and her friends always use, in English, we're going to say it in Spanish, but in English, it's let's go conquer the world. In Spanish, it's vamos a conquistar el mundo. That's how I believe it is said. We're going to check, okay, and make sure that I'm saying it correctly. Here we go.
Vamos a conquistar el mundo.
That was fucking far.
Yeah, and I definitely can't
That
say
was like
Vamos.
I said it right, yeah?
Yeah, you got it.
Fluent.
Vamos a conquistar el mundo. This saying is important to us because we are getting tattoos tomorrow because we absolutely love
'Cause
Cindy to death.
That's what we all need.
It's what we all need. We all need to go out and conquer the world. And we absolutely love Cindy and her energy. And we want to take her energy with us everywhere we go. So we are going to get that tattooed on us. And she is as well. Ours will be in Spanish. Hers will be in English. Because we're going to exchange our energies, so to say, through that tattoo. But the point of this is to make sure that we know how to say it because Phoebes, as previously mentioned, the British accent doesn't I don't think you guys have a lot of sounds that are similar to Spanish.
No.
I have a bit of an advantage when it comes to Spanish because I grew up in Texas. Texas is 50% almost Latino, has Hispanic, mostly Mexican, but a lot. So I have heard Spanish my entire life. My mom is Mexican. She speaks Spanish, spoke Spanish with my family my entire childhood. So I'm very familiar with the accent. Phoebe's not so much. So,
which is shocking because I assume when I did Spanish GCSE, my Spanish accent was banging.
But you did it in England.
Yeah, but my Spanish teacher was a terrifying little lady from Spain.
Yeah,
great shoes. She had great shoes.
I don't know what it is. I feel like, okay, so I can go.
I can't do that.
Let's see you try. Hey, that's actually better than it has been, honestly.
Yeah, it's because I practiced loads in Santa Marta because
Yeah.
Wilson, one of the bartenders, found it hilarious that I couldn't do that.
But you're getting better. But another thing is okay, so in Spanish, a lot of time, to say look, which the word for look
Mira.
is, no, it's mira.
Yeah, that's what I said.
No, you said mira.
Mira.
No, that's
Mira.
not correct. Nobody's going to understand that.
No one does understand me, which is hilarious because then
Correct.
they'll talk to Jess and just be like, ella entiendes,
Entiende.
entiende, because I do understand.
Yeah, and she does, and she's also saying the correct words. Por ejemplo, mira, no one is going to understand that because that
Mira.
is, no,
Mira.
mira,
Mira.
mira,
Mira.
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 It's closer. Mira.
Mira.
That's close enough. People will understand that. But mira, nobody knows that. So, today we are learning our phrase that we're getting tattooed. Vamos a conquistar el mundo.
Vamos a conquistar el mundo.
No, it's close. Vamos a conquistar el mundo.
Vamos a conquistar el mundo.
Nailed it. Now let's hear it fast.
Vamos a conquistar el mundo.
Vamos a conquistar el mundo.
That was sick. No, if I can do Vamos a conquistar el mundo. You said it better than I did. Nice. Super nice, Phoebes. I'm so proud of you. So each
That was
week...
going to go 2 ways. If I'm honest. Just took it.
Nailed it. So each week we will do a little Spanish learning sesh. Again, I feel like if you are traveling through Spanish speaking countries for longer than 6 months and you make no effort to learn the language, you're an asshole. Really.
Even maybe not maybe if you don't want to learn conversational Spanish, fine.
At least learn
But,
functional Spanish.
Learn tengo una reservación.
Right.
Tengo necesito I have need. Necesito una toalla. Towel.
Toalla. Necesito una toalla.
I need a towel. Learn the basics that are going to get you through staying in hostels, or ordering at a bar or ordering at a restaurant.
Right, because it's nobody's responsibility to make sure you understand how to communicate. That is your responsibility.
I also think like one of the easiest ways maybe to learn, like to help you understand Spanish. I definitely found this when I was in Mexico after not speaking Spanish for years last year, is I would get the Spanish menu in a restaurant and my friend would get the English one, and I'd just read it and see if I understood as much as I thought I did.
And also, something that I say a lot, which helped me immensely, is learning the Spanish alphabet. Because there are so many sounds that we use in English that don't exist in Spanish. And then letters have much different sounds in Spanish than they do in English. For example,
A V is a B.
por ejemplo, a V is a B sound. You don't say vamos, you say vamos. Also,
Double L is a Y.
yeah, double L is a Y sound. And I is an E sound. The sound I does not exist. Well, it does, but it's AY, not an I. An I is an E sound, and an E is an sound. A is always A. It's never A. Never. So yeah, it's those things. When you learn the Spanish alphabet, you start to understand more of the pronunciation, because that's where Phoebes has a lot of trouble. She knows the words, but the pronunciation is really bad. So people still don't understand what she's trying to say because the pronunciation is wrong. And that's very important in Spanish. So hopefully you can learn a little bit of Spanish from two white girls that don't really know Spanish.
But we're at least making an effort.
We're trying, and that is all that matters. Each week we will be giving some tips, especially for women in Latin America, because there are some things that we would like for you guys to know, especially if you're on my TikTok. I get a lot of questions from women a lot of times.
So English lessons and Spanish lessons next season.
Yeah, word, right?
Season.
Next season.
Next season.
So that will lead us into our next segment, tips for women in Latin America.
Because obviously this is our introduction to what we're doing. These tips actually probably go for anyone who's traveling, whether it be solo or in a group. It definitely is for everyone. We're just, as it goes on, we're probably going to do ones more specific to women, because like I just don't think men understand that sometimes traveling as a woman is a much more different experience when you're wandering around at night or even during the day. Like there was once in Medellin, we were sat having beers with some people we met, and the guy, he literally said, if you hold your head up high, they're not gonna bother you. And me, Jess, and the other lady who's a friend of mine from Mexico literally all turned around and said in unison, but you're a guy.
Yeah.
It's all very different.
I can walk with my head as high as it's ever been, and it doesn't matter. There will always be a man there going, ooh, whistling, not leaving me alone in my personal space. It is a completely different experience for a man than it is for a woman. So yeah, definitely and in fairness, anytime we've had these conversations with men and we explain this to them, they go, oh shit, yeah, you're right. I never thought of it that way.
Because they don't need to.
They don't need to, because that's not their experience.
I mean, there was one lad who I met in Mexico. We bumped into him in Colombia. He was traveling with another friend. The lad I met in Mexico, white, doesn't tan. Very obviously a gringo. His mate, I want to say Middle East background.
Okay.
Anchor.
Don't know.
Is taller, darker in skin, and what my mate who doesn't tan noticed was that he gets beelined for. He gets beelined for because he is obviously not from the area.
And I will say, from traveling alone in Latin America to traveling with her in Latin America is a completely different experience, because when I'm by myself, I don't get bothered near as much as when I'm with her, because I have dark hair, dark skin. I have a fairly decent Spanish accent. So people do not bother me the way that they do when I'm with her. When I am with her, it is a completely different experience, because when I'm with her, they know that we're both gringas. When I'm alone, they assume that I am either from their country or from another Latin American country. So it's also a different experience in that regard. So there's a lot of different factors that play into that. But for us, we've definitely found that in talking to men, they just don't really realize what it's like for us.
Yeah.
It's a completely different experience.
But like as mentioned before, these tips we're about to tell you, they are genuinely for anyone who feels nervous about traveling alone or with a friend who's never really left the safety of like the Western world that they know.
Yeah, so I'm gonna move the camera down a little bit, because it's like I should have done that a long time ago. So, tip number 1, which we've already mentioned, which is very Colombia specific: no dar papaya. Always be aware of what's going on. Don't show off. Don't be walking with your phone in your hand. Don't leave your purse open. This is one thing that I had a very bad habit of doing before I made myself become super aware of it. A lot of times, especially, we're at the shop and we're buying food, and we open our purse to get our wallet out and we're paying. We don't think to close the purse. We just leave it open because I'm about to put my coin purse right back in there. So we just get it out, pay, and stick it right back in without thinking to zip the purse. Always, always, always zip the purse. I know that this seems very, very obvious, but it's not, because I still do it all the time.
Do that.
I do it a lot.
When we're like stood and we're paying, I've never re-zipped it while my purse is out, while my wallet is out.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Because you don't think of that.
I mean, yeah, because that is smart.
It's something that you don't think of. But I notice now that I've been, especially in Colombia, because they reinforce this no dar papaya thing all the time, I've been super aware of those types of things, and I have realized that I do that a lot.
And also, like, if you are walking through an area that you think may be slightly more likely to get pickpocketed, girls, if you have a bag that goes over your shoulder, just make sure you're holding where the zip is. Because at that point, you're going to be able to feel it. Or a friend in Brazil uses a cabaya clip.
Oh, like a carabiner.
Yeah, like
carabiner.
that,
Carabiner.
like uses that and attaches the zip to the main part of the bag. If you have a bag that can do that as well. Like, I mean, that's slightly annoying. I had it for a bit, and it would be like trying to get it done up when I'd got like a cigarette out or whatever.
Yeah, it is annoying, but at
Like,
the
it's
end
annoying,
of the
but
day,
just
like,
be very conscious about your bag. And it's really weird because it is second nature, because your money and your phone will be in there. And like, due to the world we live in, our phone is our life. And like, if I lost my phone, if my phone got stolen, that is the entrance into me being able to check how much money I have in my bank when I'm getting cash out. Me contacting my family, letting them know I'm alive. Me letting all my Instagram followers know I'm having an amazing time. Like,
It's
obviously,
everything.
it's everything. So we are very conscious about where our phone is. But on the other hand, boys, like,
oh, they just put it in their pocket. They just, I mean, they have no, and then they're like, I got robbed on the train. I'm like, of course you fucking did. Your wallet is in your pocket, accessible to anyone.
We're not saying everyone around is going to rob you,
Obviously not.
but
There are areas such as the train
where it's more likely.
where it's more likely. I mean, there is just, it's a lot of common sense stuff, but it's also stuff that you don't think about. And even me being away from the US for 2 years, you know, and in these environments where you're told, like, always be aware, always be aware, always be aware, I still forget. And the purse thing, I noticed
never
that's,
thought of that.
yeah, man. And that's the time that if someone is there to rob you, that's the time they're going to do it.
Yeah,
And
100%.
because that's when you're vulnerable. You're not paying attention. You're focused on the cashier. You're paying. You're doing whatever. And this person could easily just walk by, boop,
Pick out
and you'll
something.
never know. You'll never know. And nobody will know, really, because nobody's paying attention.
Yeah.
Person behind the counter's not paying attention. You're not paying attention. It's the perfect time. So, like, yeah, that's one thing I've really had to be aware of is the purse thing.
Like, we're not saying everyone everywhere is going to rob you, but
Obviously.
it, like, if you live by the rule that you could get robbed everywhere you go, you're going to be more precautious of how you deal with your belongings.
Right. Also, another good rule to live by is if it feels dangerous, it most likely is. You should always, always, always ask your hostel or hotel staff wherever you're staying. If you're thinking of going to a certain place, hey, is it safe for me to walk here? Is it safe for me to walk here at night? And they will always be honest.
They'll be like, yeah, maybe, but I wouldn't suggest it.
Yeah.
And that's a no. Don't go, like, because we all do it. We all do it with all aspects of our life. It won't happen to me, but I guarantee you, it most likely could if you just don't listen. Like, these hostel people have been here.
Yeah.
They've lived it. They've probably seen people come through that hostel door many a times having shit stolen. So if they say it's probably not safe for you to walk around at night,
It's not.
then it's not safe for you to walk around at night.
Yeah. So don't do it. And they'll always be honest. And also something that we get accused of, and I accuse Phoebe of all the time because it gets a little bit ridiculous. Walk fast.
Yeah, I keep telling you, walk faster.
I do, Phoebes. Are you serious right now? You think I walk slow?
I just walk faster.
No,
We know,
exactly.
we know I'm a fast walker.
Okay?
Okay, so basically, I'm a fast walker.
No, she's a fucking speed walker. And she'll tell everyone else, oh my God, why do you guys walk so slow? You're so slow. I'm like, are you fucking serious?
I think the worst bit that annoys both of us is when we're walking along a street and I have something to say, but we're still walking. So I'm ahead of Jess. I say something and Jess is like, do you want to turn around and fucking say that to my face? Because I don't know what you said.
She's like a beat. Let's just make something clear. She is just one beat ahead. One beat ahead. It's not like I'm fucking way the fuck back there. I am one beat behind her because at this point, I just fucking refuse. I'm not going to do it. I am going to hold my pace because that's my pace. I'm not going to, I refuse. You fucking walk your stupid way and I'll walk my way. And that's just how it's going to go. And oh, don't get me started.
But if you sped up that one beat, how I walk in my shoes wouldn't annoy you so much.
Or if you fucking slowed down, it wouldn't annoy me. But neither of those things is going to happen.
I agree.
So we just need to accept, which I already have. I'm totally okay with it.
Apart from all day yesterday, you were commenting on how...
Because you don't know how to walk, and it's so fucking infuriating.
I mean, I know how to walk.
Okay, this is a conversation for another day. She doesn't know how to walk. It's infuriating.
I know how to walk. I just, for my entire life, have walked... Like, my feet are always at an angle in my shoes, which means if I'm wearing certain shoes, it's more annoying. Okay?
It's annoying in all shoes.
I bought some gorgeous boots in Salento, super cheap, stunning, but my heel goes over the sole, which actually, in fairness, annoys me.
It's
But
I
it
don't
annoys
I
her
don't
a
understand.
lot
It's because I don't understand, Beebs.
Me neither.
I don't get it. And you're conscious of the fact that you're doing it, but you make no effort to correct it. And it just seems like it's something that's correctable.
I don't think it is.
Are you
It would
sure?
have been corrected by now.
Do you think are you sure though? Or are you just like,
Yeah.
oh fuck it, this is just me.
No, I promise you. Because if I go get the sandals you made me buy, that 100% one is too big for me. Then
They're not too big.
Then you'll see my foot imprint is on a diagonal. Like, it's just how it is, okay?
Anyways, what was the point of this? Walk
fast
fast
and with conviction.
Look like you know where you're going, even if you don't. Even if you're only walking to get to a store so you can check your phone to check the map to make sure you're going the correct way. Always look like you know exactly where you're going and you have a reason to go there. Don't act like you're wandering around, like you're just looking for something, like you're lost. Always appear as though you know exactly where you are. And walk fast, because walking slow is just like
Annoying as
a
hell.
reason for people to fuck with you, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, the men always will, because men, eh? Literally, men, eh? So yeah, we'll definitely have more on this segment as things come along. Since this is our first episode, it's really just kind of a giant recap of the last 7 to 8 weeks. But in the episodes coming, we will have very specific things for you guys that have happened to us in the recent weeks. That will lead us into something that we do every single day.
Every single day together.
And it's the reason that we have these tiaras. It is our co-star reading.
So CoStar is an app, and if you know your birthday, which obviously everyone does, and the time you were born, you download this app, you put it in, and it will tell you about your stars and who you are as a human being. But the fun thing we find entertaining is that every day it tells you what you should expect from the day, where your troubles lie, where you're having fun. And then it will tell, the most entertaining bit is the do's and don'ts of the day.
Yeah.
When it says a do, like, we'll read it at any time during the day. When it says a do blah, 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 we'll usually go off and do it.
If we're in the vicinity of what that thing is.
So do tiaras.
We
We
were
bought
going
tiaras for the
techno
party. Do tattoos. We got our Princessa Basura tattoo.
because we had already been talking about it. So it wasn't like a completely spontaneous, oh, this says tattoos, so let's get a tattoo. We had already been talking about it for a while, and then that came up, and we're like, I guess today's the day.
Yeah. So what you're going to get every time we do a podcast is us reading our horoscopes
For the day.
for the day.
And this is how we will conclude every episode because, as we just mentioned, we do try to do at least one thing on either her do list or my do list. So we will read these and then we will go do some shit. Yeah?
Yeah.
All right. Let's hear it, Phoebes.
Okay. Something is wrong. You already knew this.
Hello.
Now, address it. Power in routine, thinking and creativity, spirituality, social life, sex and love, and self.
Wow, you're killing it.
Yeah. Are you ignoring your sadness? Today, your emotions leak out over everything. You mistake your feelings for fact, make decisions based on your mood, and judge yourself for being irrational. Throw yourself into what another person is saying. You already know how to tread water, and that's a start. Do PBJ, warm laundry, elbow pads.
What?
I can't find peanut butter, okay?
I know.
Don't do slouching, camouflage, grayscale.
When we took a break, I told you not to slouch.
It's true.
I did.
You know how to appear spontaneous and carefree by being completely emotionally dependent on a few people. That's on my soul. I'll put it on my phone. That's what happened there.
Oh my God. Okay. Build a machine that doesn't need you. Trouble with routine, thinking and creativity, spirituality, social life, sex and love and
Wow,
self.
we are on opposite scales.
Woo! Totally opposite. Open yourself to the unknown. Today you want to do something you've never done before. New experiences or something close to magic. You know what you need to do. Start a new podcast, maybe?
I mean, yeah, we have never done a podcast together.
That's true. Do lock picking, schemes, conspiracy. Don't do soapbox, magnifying glass, gavels.
Okay, so I hear it's telling us to go research the conspiracy theory of flat earthers.
Shit. I mean, how much research does that really require?
Do you know how many people think the earth is flat?
You know how many people are fucking stupid,
Yeah.
right? You know how to go several days without seeing another living person. That is a fact.
Yeah.
I can totes do that. That concludes our co-star readings for the day. And
And our podcast.
that concludes episode 1 of Las Pinches Güeras.
That's Pinches, whereas.
Excellent. We will see you guys again hopefully next week. We're going to go into Medellin and hopefully get some equipment to better rectify this whole thing.
But we do look great.
Yeah, I mean, for what we had to work with, I think we did a pretty good job. I'm used to having an entire studio full of stuff. So for me, I definitely had to lower my expectations quite a bit. But maybe when we go into Medellin, which by the way, if you ever need electronics,
There's an entire mall
like several malls.
that just sells electronics. It's just 20,000 electronic shops.
Like 4 stories of nothing but electronic shops. So if we can't find what we need in Medellin, then this is just what we're rocking with.
Yeah,
So
it's easier to set up. It's only 3 things.
true. And we'll be doing this in hostels and whatnot. So
the less shit, the better.
true. Yeah. So we will see you guys again soon.
Sorry, I'm just appreciating my highlighter.
Yeah, you'll get that a lot with her. But that's Phoebes. Da-da-da.
Da-da-da.
Love you guys.
Thanks for listening.
Peace. Oh wait, we gotta say. Wait. We forgot the thing.
Okay.
Shit. Okay. This is okay. Outro number 1. If you liked it,
Tell your friends.
if you hated it,
Tell your enemies.
and now we're out. Peace. Love you.